All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 94 of, God damn it, I'm coming up on 100 episodes. I'm so proud of myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Welcome to episode 94 of CONSERVATISH. My name is Peter Edgar Feliciano. And you can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano, Feliciano, Facebook, blah, 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 YouTube. September 13th, Friday the 13th is my giant album release party. We're going to be playing all of the album, 9 songs, with a full band. We've got my dad, the horn arranger, who's also on the show, Rick Feliciano. He's going to be playing the horns that he arranged. It's going to be Pollo Del Mar is going to be the drag queen is going to be the MC. We've got DJ Kevy Kev, legendary Bay Area DJ is going to be there. It's going to be fucking great. So you need to be there. Jefferson Berge is going to open. It's going to be amazing. And it's also going to be a going away party because I'm moving to New York in September. So you need to get on that shit, September 13th. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great, great pleasure to welcome Victor Pacheco.
Thanks for having me, Peter.
Thank you. So you saying you were worried about video. I said, no, you look great. You look like a, you look like a salesman for Tommy Bahama.
I've got fat Charlie Sheen with a beard.
No,
and I'm like, fuck.
I
you,
thought my
dude.
joke was pretty weak.
Dude,
I apologize.
No,
I was gonna or a Cuban cigar enthusiast. You know what I mean? Or like you know what I mean? Or you play in a salsa band with my dad. That's what. Yeah.
Dude, I wish I played in a band. Man, sometimes I get really emotional. I'm like, man, I should have learned how to play the fucking guitar.
Well, at least you can get up on fucking stage and he's a comedian, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, or some weirdo that just goes on stage.
Something like yeah, but you at least you can go on stage. That's fucking great. I've seen you live. You're a funny motherfucker.
Thank you.
Been on stages with you and Teddy Hull and
you can't use last name. I'm just kidding.
Mean Dave, a bunch of comedians around, and because a lot of the stuff that I do is semi-funny, and so people want me to, comedians have me on their show and shit, and that's where I saw you,
that's where
and you're
I
a
met
funny
you,
guy.
man.
Yeah.
I've seen you, and I was talking about this. What really makes Peter really real artist is that he actually performs like at bar stations, and that takes balls because that's street performance. You're in a confined area.
Yes.
If you're singing a song somebody doesn't jive to, or they think that like it reminds them of something bad,
Yes.
like that's really like, I don't know, man.
Well, the funnest part about it was the fact that a bunch of people just do not fucking give a fuck about you. That's the best part.
That's stand-up comedy.
Right.
That's stand-up comedy. Like they don't like how your
okay,
voice
you
sounds.
finish singing and no applause, no. I mean, you'll get maybe $1, but it's just like, all right. So this is it's effectively like practicing just in public, and people pay you for it.
But that's like the ultimate neglect right there from people. So when the people really are listening and they really appreciate you, because they don't know about all those times that you're pretty much playing to an unresponsive audience,
Right,
you know?
right.
And that's like some bar shows,
Right.
a lot of open mics, and it's
Right.
just really, it's really messed up because people don't really, take it as serious as they should, myself included, because I should be going up 7 nights a week, but sometimes you don't. And I went out this weekend and I'm like, oh wow, this is so beautiful, but I wish I was out performing right now. That'd be so great if I got work that weekend, but it's great. It's really fun.
Right.
It's funny. You meet a lot of interesting people. Like
I've heard Seinfeld said if you're doing stand up, that being on stage needs to be the best part of your life, your best part of your day. Otherwise, you're not going to want to go. Like if there's more fun shit to do, obviously he's exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Like I'm sure driving his fucking 83 Porsches is more fun, but like
but I mean,
but being on stage has to be.
It's exhilarating, man. It's
Okay.
like I've done drugs before, and I probably shouldn't admit that. I'm just,
You're on the right podcast.
But it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right,
I
right.
don't think any administrators are going to listen to this. I'm hoping those are the only people that don't listen to this, out of everybody.
Right.
Because I've had people try to get me fired after performances because I jokingly talk about how I need to motivate these kids to learn how to speak Spanish so they can buy better quality cocaine at a cheaper price. And
You're just being of service, man. You're just trying to be.
It's
very altruistic of you.
Silly. And
Right.
I would never do that. They don't pay me enough. It's like I don't care about these kids enough to teach them the street smarts of being.
Right. So here's what a teener is, and here's what you're pointing up to. You need like a laser pointer. Yeah.
I have an interesting story about a teener.
Yes,
my,
sir.
my white friend, and yeah, he has to be white for the story. Went to this party with this dude named we're just not gonna name his name, but he's a Mexican dude I used to play football with, and like bro, he talks like this with an accent,
Right.
and my friend, and he's at this dude's house for a party years ago, and the guy's like, hey bro, you want a teener? You want teener? And so when he's telling the story, I'm like, oh, dude, he's going to do coke. He's going to do meth. He's teener. And then my friend's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, come with me. So they go to the garage. He picks up this brown paper bag, and it's filled with paint thinner.
Okay.
So he's like, you want some thinner, some
Wow.
paint thinner.
Okay.
And I was
Did
like,
they do it? Did they?
No, my friend
huffing,
did
I'm
not do
assuming?
it. My white friend did not do it, but
Okay.
my Latino friend with the accent, he was huffing and puffing, and now he works for law enforcement. So I really, I know a lot
Can you
of
get him
people-
on the show? That's all I want. Can you get him on the
Y-
show?
It's gonna have to be like
Anonymous?
It's gonna be like Drugs Inc. when they do the shadow and the silhouette. So maybe no video for that one.
I have had one anonymous active service member, because active service members are not allowed to have an opinion either. But I want people. Yeah, I want to get a fireman. I want to get a fucking police officer and just talk about some real shit, because it's I like, one of the things about this is telling the different stories of people's lives. You know what I mean? And too often, initially I wanted to start, that's why I called it conservatish, because too often we just, in the Bay Area, we just don't know that conservative people exist, or if we do, we just assume if you're not in San Francisco, LA, or New York, you're just a horrible racist piece of shit. And I'm like, well, hang on, I actually know some of these motherfuckers. Like, let's tell the story of
Right.
all these people. So like you're saying, you heard the Nosmo, the good girl's boyfriend, the sex worker, and things like that. So I like telling the stories, but like I would love to have somebody who's a cop, especially a cop who has huffed paint thinner.
Yeah.
That is interesting shit. That's it's a life story.
It was weird seeing a new profile pic of him dressed up in a uniform. I'm like, dude, that's great. And I can tell you
Right.
some stuff off camera
Right.
that I just remember that I really like. Okay, that's pretty incriminating. But
Oakland is desperate for more cops. That's what
Dude,
there's always, every time I go over there, there's
everywhere
a
in the Bay,
billboard.
actually, to tell the truth, because I see the same signs in San Francisco, and it's really, it's really
EPA.
dangerous, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's really bad out there. My mom's like, "Mijo, be careful." I'm like, "Mom, I'm 6'2" and 360 pounds, like, and nobody messes with me." But like, I
Right.
just left my jacket in the water I just purchased outside right now on the ledge, and some dude just came like rifling through my jacket, and I'm like, "Whoa, dude, what are you doing?" And I'm like, he's like, "Hey, bro, what are you doing? Leave your jacket right here." Like, it was my fault.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me right now? Like,
Right.
how are you trying to make me feel like even more victimized?
Was
than
it a
already-
white guy or a black guy?
It was a white guy.
Oh, really?
It was a
Okay.
white guy. Yeah, no.
I'll be
Thank you
just
for
a little
asking.
racist.
No.
Just to
I'm you know what? That was a climax right there. That was a climax. It was a fucking white guy, and it was a tweaker.
Yeah.
And this
No,
fucking
no,
tweaker, and like nothing against tweakers. I'm not fucking druggist. You're racist. There's druggists.
Okay, sometimes, so Patrice used to talk about, Patrice O'Neill, my favorite comedian ever,
absolutely.
used to talk about how experience, like how many times do you have to have a bad experience with a certain type of person before you're allowed to prejudge them? I would say, tweaker, if you had a bad experience with one tweaker, you're allowed to say, like, okay, how many bad experiences with tweakers do we need to go, like, okay, holy fuck. You know what I mean?
But I'm not one of these like as a like recovering person.
Yeah, not from a moral standpoint.
I have love for people that want to get fucked up. You know
Sure,
what I mean? And I was just
absolutely.
like trying to think, like, if there was one thing I liked about Donald Trump, it would be that he's a consistent drug addict. So it's just like,
His McDonald's?
no,
His
his
KFC?
fucking Adderall, man.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he does
How could you
Adderall.
forget, man? I watched that shit and my fucking pulse gets out of control. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's brilliant. Like, brilliantly, like, trying to, like, he is the #1 reality show. He is fucking
Yeah.
making, like, waves right now.
Sure.
Everyone's tuning in around the world.
Absolutely.
Our fucking dollar's plummeting. His fucking, like, whatever the fuck he has invested in. I'm going to get shot by the CIA. It's, no, just kidding, man.
Right.
But it's, but you know what, though, dude? Like, I it's scary. And,
Okay.
there's people talking about that now. If you're Latino looking, you're going to have to present an ID if you get stopped by immigration. And I was like, listen, you know what I do when I get stopped by immigration? Like, as a big fat Mexican guy,
Right.
they're like, excuse me, place of birth. And I'm like, I'm from the motherfucking Bay.
Right.
And that's all you got to say. And
I doubt that anyone would go not with the Cuban shirt especially.
Dude,
like,
but
no one's gonna stop.
I don't think anyone's gonna stop because like I sound like an entitled asshole American saying that. Like I'm from the Bay, motherfucker.
Right.
Like, I don't, but like
you just start crip walking, talk like Keek to Sneak.
No, then they're gonna definitely think I'm from Mexico, copying like these music videos and whatnot.
Right.
But it's good times lately.
What was the first time you were on stage?
Like ever? I was. It's funny though because I didn't follow through, but I did. My first time on stage was in middle school.
Did you do stand up?
I did stand up with my buddy. We did like a comedy duo thing, which I didn't realize how hard and difficult that is.
Right.
And this is in middle school. We did in 7th grade and 8th grade, and we won first place both times. And then I concentrated on school. Then I started using drugs and went to college, and it was really like I don't know. Like I just stopped, and then I got into a car accident. I got addicted to opioids even more so than I already was.
Sure.
And then I got off of it, and I was like, oh my God, I've never been off of opioids this long. I'm probably gonna die soon.
Right.
Let me try stand-up comedy again for the first time as an adult at age 27. Like because that was like 1998, 1999. So 1999 was the last time I went on stage. In 8th grade. Right. So then I waited till 2012. So I waited those 12, 13 years. 13 years, dude. Like,
Did you remember? So, first things first. Do you feel like you were always funny? Like, were you the class clown? I know it's a hack fucking.
No, it's not like a hack thing because, like, to tell you the truth, like some people really weren't class clowns, man. Some people like were picked on so much they never said shit in class, and their fucking like social communication skills are terrible, but they're fucking hilarious. That's a lot of fucking people, but some people are like truly gifted and they could like be cool on and off stage without the social, but it's like really hard.
What about you?
What do you mean? Like,
did you feel like you were always funny just naturally, or did you pick it up after being picked on, or what was it for you?
I always watched funny movies, and I always saw like the effect that like laughter caused everybody to have, and just being funny and saying funny things. Like, but like I grew up Mexican in a Mexican household, so I'm watching all this like hack Mexican comedy where it's like
Bumblebee fucking
ahorita vamos por allá and it's like all these like silly voices. So I knew from a young age that making silly voices, like you made some type of connection with people because people like can relate to like being silly or like, oh wow, that's so funny. Like that you would go out of your way to like act like you want to make people laugh like a clown. That's really like brave of you.
Sure.
So I don't know. I never thought it was like brave. I'm always like every single time it doesn't matter. Like I'm like what am I doing? Like what am I doing? Like right before I go on stage, like what do I have to prove? Why am I doing this?
Right.
Because it's like really scary sometimes.
You still feel that way.
Well, I mean, not why am I doing this, but like how did I get here?
Right.
Like now, like like when with like auditions or like you're doing a weekend at a club or you're like in front of like nationally touring headliner or like a club manager or a talent coordinator, which is a booker. So it's like, well, what about when you're performing in front of these people and or people that like produce shows, like my peers or people above me or whatever, like
what the fear is for me? The fear is for me is that like I had a horrible show on Sunday. I had a great show on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I was
like your performance was bad, or like the whole show sucked, and it was like just you got crowd money, or like
the crowd was dog shit. First things first, I know more often than not I'm the problem if I'm having a bad experience at a show. Because first things first, they're not coming to see me, except for September 13th. They're most of the time, they're at a wine bar. I'm doing this for money. I'm playing 2 to 3 hours of cover songs. It's not my shit. I have fun doing it, but most of the time it's just me being entertainment, because they don't want to just press play. They want live entertainment to keep people interested. I can do that. I can do that well.
That's awesome, dude.
Thank you, sir. And so, I was at Amelie Wine Bar, great place. I play there about once a month. And number one, it was slow. Number two, there was a really drunk guy who kept like bothering this table over here. There was some table of girls, and he was kind of like trying to make them, like come dance with me. And he also came up to me a couple of times, going like, "I could play guitar," and I'm just like, "Oh, that's very interesting." And then, so I was getting annoyed with that motherfucker, and then I was also getting annoyed because there was this other table of drunk guys, and at one point, they actually started singing a different song at the top of their lungs while I was singing a song. They just were like, They were acting like I was a fucking radio that they could just like, oh, there's not another human person in this fucking bar. So let me just, start. It was super disrespectful. I literally had to stop playing the song and say, guys, like, you're great and everything. I love you or whatever. But can you shut the fuck up? Like, can you stop doing what you're doing?
Did you really say shut the fuck up?
No, but I said, can you stop? No, I appreciate it.
I gotta know. Because,
I appreciate it. But there was a point. There was a point. Like, yeah, I wish you did covers though. Like, like they were drunk and wanted me to do covers. And this one guy was like, "Do you do covers?" And I'm just fucking annoyed with them. I'm like, "No, I don't. Sorry." Or I don't requests, not covers. They were like, "Can you do requests?" I'm like, "No," because number one, they're not tipping me shit. They don't give a fuck. They're not giving me any emotional engagement. They're not present with me. Why am I gonna jump into the fucking fire to try to tap dance faster to keep these cocksuckers entertained? You know what I mean? So it was a difficult show. And then at a certain point, like one of them was like, do you do any what's that cocksucker's name? What's that guy? Because baby, I've been loving you since 17. Ed Sheeran. They requested Ed Sheeran, and I was like, oh fuck no! Like I literally said, oh fuck no! I would never. I learned one Jason Mraz song because a wedding requested it. That was the only goddamn reason I learned. Yeah,
that's different.
But like, they were paying me very fucking well.
I was thinking like,
right.
Either way, like that's great. Either way, because you're doing the job. They're asking you to do a certain job.
Right.
You're like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking learn that song because I can do that gig.
Right.
And you know what?
And I know I can do it well enough that people will be engaged and enjoy it. But if someone's just requesting, I have no qualms with making fun of someone's horrible music taste in front of, because there was another couple over here who started laughing at the fact that I was making fun of them. But it was I just felt super underappreciated, whatever. And going back to that feeling you were talking about, the feeling for me is, I mean, it comes in a lot of different ways, but that night was like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Like, this is so, I'm getting my ass beat. Like, I'm spending hours to do this fucking podcast. I just spent $13 goddamn to pay for 2 hours of parking because San Francisco is the devil. Like, just to do, so it's like, I'm sacrificing it, and I'm just like, sometimes it's great. But sometimes it's like, I fucking suck. This is, I'm not even good at this. Why do people, am I just a cover guy? Like, am I not good enough to do originals? Like, all this shit, goes through my head sometimes.
Dude, that is very similar to that of a comedian's desire. But also, though, dude, like, you do funny songs.
Thank you.
So you should just, like, do funny songs, man. And it's funny, though, and I don't want to call nobody out. But, like, I got very emotional the other day because I saw a documentary that I had no business watching, and I watched it, and I got very emotional. The Crazy World of Blowfly, or the Weird World of Blowfly. Okay. And Blowfly is, like, the original, like, making funny songs. He was, like, the original Weird Al Yankovic. And I'm like, dude, the fact that, like, not everybody knows who he is and that he's not a mainstream dude made me very emotional because, like, he was, like, an old-ass dude doing these gigs. And I'm like, I started crying. I'm like, is that going to be me when I'm 16?
Right.
Like, am I going to be fucking doing that shit? And I got very emotional because he was doing that shit, and I got very, like, I was like, dude, Blowfly, everyone should know who that guy is. Everybody, because he was funny.
Yeah, look him up.
Sings rap dirty, like, like, it's really like fuck. Like, I was like, dude,
like a Stephen Lynch type of guy. Like, he makes originals. So like a Weird Al is more. He does some originals.
He does covers. No. So I guess it's the guy you just said. Right. But this dude's like been doing it like I guess the same year or the year before as Rapper's Delight.
Oh wow.
So. And this guy like wrote a lot of like original songs that like Beyonce like took verses out of and like
of
covered.
Course. Right.
And then like he got no royalties because he needed the money for whatever he needed it for.
Right.
And so like he got screwed out. It was like this really sad documentary that had all these famous people in it.
Right.
And it was really like emotional for me because I'm like, dude, is that gonna be me?
Right.
But then I'm like, dude, he's got these gigs, and then like he passed away. Like, dude, I found out who he was, and I start following him on Twitter, and then it's just like, this is his manager. He's got terminal cancer. He's in the hospital, but he wants you all to show him some love. If you guys could send him letters, this is his, and I started crying. I was like, dude, people don't even know who Blowfly is. Like, he doesn't even have that many followers. Not that I have any followers. I suck. I'm still in triple digits. Yeah. But I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just thinking like, if I ever were to have like influence to like make something cracking, like to get like famous people like to get together and have the Blowfly Comedy Festival, comedy festival, like that would be like something like with funny original songs where people actually like get to connect with audiences and say funny things because like it's funny because people sing funny songs. Like I opened for a dude, nationally touring headliner named Josh Wolf at the San Jose Improv, and this guy was hilarious. I only know him from a couple of podcasts and like they mention him and like he's really funny. Like, and I checked him out I had seen him before. Then he had this like viral like 5-minute clip that went along about like how he got uninvited from a wedding because of the bachelor party. But at any rate, it was a really funny story, and like he's a really good looking white guy. And it was funny. I saw him changing backstage, and I just slipped. I was like, dude, you're ripped, bro. Oh my god, like this guy, like if he wanted, you could take off his shirt and like have chicks go crazy. And
Right,
like,
just like me.
I don't know, dude. This guy's really buff. But maybe, yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, you're gonna take off your shirt, or
No, probably not. We'll see how well we'll see how well the podcast goes.
Okay, well,
Patreon.com/conservative. Give me money and I'll show you my titties. So here's the second question I have for you, or 58th. The thing, because I relate to that feeling of like, is that going to be me, right?
yeah,
I feel like part of it is, part of the way that would be me is, number one, my defeatist attitude. Sometimes I fucking like, especially Sunday, is like sometimes I'm so terrified of just sending the goddamn email. It's not even like it's a giant email, but I'm so either lazy or self-defeatist that I don't even want to send the email. I'd rather just get pizza and Netflix and just zone out and like postpone sending the email to somebody to, you know, do a show, or asking somebody if they would do a video for me or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so part of it is the self-defeatist. Part of it is just luck. You know what I mean? Or a good
it's
PR
timing, though,
person.
too. It's timing.
Right.
It's like, it's really like, and I know luck has to do with timing.
Sure.
But like really like timing when you ask, when you're like with somebody, when they say drop me an email or like something, dude, you never know what's gonna happen, man. Like,
Right.
like you really don't. Like, dude, I met Paul Rodriguez, and he gave
nice.
me a guest spot at the Improv because
Nice.
I'm friends with one of his friends.
Okay.
And so like my friend asked him if I could get a guest spot after he introduced me in the green room, which I have no business in because I wasn't working. So the fact that he helped me out like that, and I got to meet like one of my like heroes, that was pretty cool.
Right.
And then he came out as a Republican. Everyone's like, "Oh, take that off your bio." I'm like, "I'm Mexican. Fuck you." Like, you know, like
Have you? So people threatened you with cancellation?
no, dude.
Okay.
Like it's a no big deal. It's a
It
no
is
biggie.
not a big deal.
It's not a big deal
Right.
because it's like, it's something that I did that was pretty cool.
Right.
Like he's was really nice to me. He was like really like
Right.
welcoming. He didn't have to
Right.
be nice at all. But because some people don't want to talk to you, they don't want you in the same room as them.
Oh, right, right.
And I'm working the club, like, you know, they don't want you in there. And it's like,
Do you feel like
sometimes.
you mean headliners? Right?
Headliners, like national
Do you
touring
feel like
headliners, like
do you
know
feel
on
like
television.
sometimes it's because they run
Movies.
into openers who are cunts? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like from what I've heard, sometimes it's probably because
Yeah.
they don't want
They
to
don't know how to
deal
carry
with the
themselves.
same.
And this is my girlfriend, and it's just like, dude, you're no offense, all due respect, like your wife or girlfriend has like no
You
business.
mean the openers?
The openers.
Okay, yeah.
Have no business in there. Headliners, yeah. Headliners could be like, hey, you, let's go back in the green room. Openers, stay the fuck back. Like, I haven't done that many weekends where like somebody's done that to me,
Right.
but you know, it's gonna happen and it's gonna
Right.
be great. But like, you know, I guess if you have that stardom or that, you know, star power, because a lot of people like really like I've had like really like interesting people approach me because like I don't know if they think I'm gonna be a celebrity or something, or they have more faith in
You're
me
funny.
than I do.
Yeah.
But like it's just like they really want to talk to you and like sometimes have sex with you, and I'm like,
Sure.
I wouldn't fuck me, like, you know, like at all, like ever, even after a good set, like, you know, like I
But that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking sometimes for me, I don't know if this is
for
your
the record,
experience.
no one wants to fuck me.
Oh, shut
for
the
the
fuck
record,
up.
okay.
But I'm thinking right now you can email conservatishpodcast@gmail.com if you would fuck Victor. I'll tag you in the titty pictures.
Wait, my titties, or you zoom up? I'm gonna just hold the mic like this, man. It was so funny.
Right.
Oh man, no. I was about to say something really fucked up, but it's not funny.
Okay.
No.
Well, I just think like that's what I mean about the self-defeatist. Sometimes I'm so self-deprecating that people are like I'm not
suicidal.
I've fucking
that's how
been there, dude.
self-deprecating
I
I get.
have absolutely been there. But also, when you're talking to some
Sorry.
people, like you know, I started realizing I needed to ratchet up my price about a year and a half ago. Because if I don't see value in the shit I create, why the fuck would anyone else?
Right.
I'm not in my first year of singing. I'm not in my first year of going on stage. I'm not gonna like, oh gee golly gee whiz, just pay me $50 for it. Like, no, my price. And often, sir, once in a while I would price myself out, but most of the time, I remember the big turning point was a winery up in Napa sent me a message, and they wanted me to perform for a couple of hours for their, you know, anniversary.
Literally
blah, blah, blah.
2 hours. Okay.
2 hours.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, here we go.
And you're singing nonstop. Are you taking any break at all?
Oh, yeah. I'll take it 10, 15, whatever.
Okay.
But, I was like, okay, this is it. Sent it on, and I expected them to go, whoa, what the fuck are you talking about? Let's ratchet that back. They were like, okay, so where can we send the, can we PayPal? Can you? And I was like, okay,
you know what I mean? That's the best gig
because it's like
you already
I
paid money in
asked
the
for
bank.
what the fuck
Yeah.
I wanted, so already, no matter what the show is like,
because you value yourself, and you know what? Like I'll write really like indirect messages on Facebook. Like it's an enigma. Like, just kidding.
You mean on the post?
On
posts
post.
or- yeah.
On my personal timeline, like I wrote, 0 isn't a number, it's a value.
Right.
So like I'm not saying don't go to open mics because there's a time and place to go to open mics, but if you really think about like these nationally touring headliners, they don't go to fucking open mics. What they do is at their shows, they say the jokes with confidence. But sometimes when they really like are not 100% sure, or they don't go with the flow of the regular jokes, because sometimes you have these new jokes and you don't know where to put them in your routine. And so, like, or the set of jokes you're going to say that night, because sometimes it is a set of jokes more than it is a routine. Because sometimes you want to say it in a certain order, but then something happens. Mm-hmm. Like a plate breaks, or somebody knocks over a glass, or a kid walks by, or a gust of wind goes into the place and it, bangs the door super loud, or there's sirens outside.
Maybe it's not a perfect science, but when do you find is the best time to try out new shit then? I mean, do you still go to open mics or not really anymore?
I do still go to open mics.
And that's where you try out new stuff?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes, I try out new stuff at open mics. I try out timing at open mics, but like the times that I try out new jokes at showcases is when I know it fits perfectly in the spot, like as a tag for a joke or as the build-up for the joke.
What's a showcase, by the way?
Like a showcase would be like something that you're booked on that you're gonna get either drinks or money for. But but it's funny though because like when I used to be like a big-time drinker, I would be like, oh, does it come with drinks? And it's just like now I don't care because I don't drink anymore. So then I'm not judging anybody, because I don't think I'm better than anybody but myself because than I was because now I don't drink anymore. Like I don't feel like shit in the morning like how I used to. Right. And so for me, it works better, And then like you try to tell people like, the best way to tell somebody you don't drink alcohol is just like, yo, man, I don't drink alcohol anymore because it makes me crazy.
Right.
And then people are like, yeah, man, it makes me crazy too. But, if I tell people like, the reality of the situation, like, hey, I don't drink anymore because it makes me feel really suicidal. Right. Then I look like,
you wouldn't like me
dude,
when
you
I'm
attention whore.
Right.
And I'm like, no, dude, this is about awareness and shit. Fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just know myself.
Yeah, and I know myself to the point where it's just like, this is awareness. Like, like alcohol, like, is that voice sometimes like, yeah, just do it. Like, about like, those booking requests where you like, hey, this is my video. This is a sample of, what I do on stage. Let me know if you're interested. We could discuss further. And you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And so, or I'm going to be in this area, like I went to Seattle and I hit up a booker that hooks me up with, paid gigs in Santa Cruz. I was like, do you ever reach out there in Washington? And he gave me the local booker's name. Nice. And so they're like, we have nothing for you because because it was during Christmas. And it was all the local, we're going to just have local shows with locals and all the guest sets are spoken for. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you know what? That's cool. Right. That's fine. And thank you for getting back to me because you didn't have to get back to me. You didn't have to explain nothing.
Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Right.
Might as well ask for it. Right.
But then, you just try to get up wherever you can. And even though those aren't paid gigs, like I did an open mic and a showcase, but like it really didn't pay anything. It was just like really like, but I got to perform in Seattle. You know what I mean? It's just like.
Put it on the resume.
Well, I mean, it's just whatever.
Do you still get nervous?
I have like anxiousness before I go up. I really legitimately have anxiety, like without doing stand up. But then like thinking about like, oh my God, I got this really big show where I can't mess it up. Or I got to every show I try my hardest because you don't know who's going to be in the crowd. And if there's only 10 people or 8 people or 7 people, which is difficult to do with music and really more difficult to do with stand-up because like trying to engage those 10 people that might be scattered around the room. If those 10 people are all together like in one group, it's great. That's awesome. But if there's like 2 here, 3 there, 4 there,
it's more difficult. It's more difficult for stand-up, and I agree. But it's not just to get people engaged, but it's also the whole fulcrum of doing comedy is the fact that people actually listen to the fucking words you're saying.
They have to listen.
With music, that's why I just mostly do covers at the wine bar gigs or whatever. Unless people are feeling me, and I say, I'll put it out very like faux humbly, like, what would you guys think of me doing an original? And they're like, yeah, you know. And then I'll like, okay, watch this, and I fuck them in the mouth.
Peter, that's fucking beautiful, because it isn't what you asked for; it's how you asked for it.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
I can manipulate a crowd very well.
Thank you.
Unless they're drunk cunts singing at the top of their lungs. But that's why, like, at this place called Scopo Divino, great place. I love the people there. Jefferson Berge is there every Monday night. I'm there every Saturday night, singing 3 hours of gigs, 3 hours of covers. And often, especially the first 2 hours, it's awkward dates. It's like first or second dates where people are like trying to figure each other out. Where the guys they're making believe. Oh yeah, what's your family like? What's your favorite color? Where it's like they don't want to listen to, and they don't need to. It's not my job to be like, everyone needs to listen to me because I'm very good.
That's my job.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. For me, it's like I have to practice that muscle of being background and being okay with it because I'm getting paid, and you never know. Someone might take I've gotten booked for weddings. I've gotten booked for just from somebody actually seeing. I actually got booked for a $700 or something wedding.
Oh my God, great.
But because someone saw me at a fucking BART station, at Montgomery BART station. She was waiting like
That's
20.
where I saw you.
Exactly.
I'm not sure which BART it was.
It was
in San
Montgomery, most
Francisco.
likely. Yeah,
I know it was in San Francisco for a fact.
That was my place, yeah. But she was waiting for like 20 feet away after a couple of songs. She was like, "Hey, do you ever do?" Oh no, it was a party. It wasn't a wedding, but I made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that sounds like a wedding price. That's pretty cool.
Right, and it was great. You know, they gave me enough money. I actually rented a car because I didn't have a car at the time. Drove out to fucking Stockton or middle of the state to go play for a couple of hours.
Yeah,
and they loved it, and they paid me very handsomely just because of playing. So you're right. You never know. But it is difficult to practice that thing. So with stand-up, that's way
difficult to practice
worse.
too, because
that's way worse.
Like, I'm not above doing an open mic, but I think about strategizing what's best for my time. And to honest to God, I said something like, somebody's like, "Hey, are you going to go to this open mic?" And I was like, "Bro, I'd have a better time on the phone talking to my mom, talking about how, like, why does she believe in God?"
Right.
When it was all the Spaniards that came over and forced everybody to do it, otherwise it'd be killed. And do you ever think about that when you're praying to God on your knees at church?
Right.
Because I do, so I don't get on my knees anymore.
Right.
Because my forefathers already did.
I think it was,
and that's why we're still alive. That's why we still have our lineage.
Right.
And I was like, "Mom, do you ever think about that?"
Right.
And like, me having a conversation like that with my mom is more beneficial than me going to open mic and performing for other stand-up comics or first-year comics or whatever. Right. Or if you want to call them open micers, if you want to be a asshole.
Yeah, derogatory.
But to some people, I'm an open micer because,
Sure.
I still, have my hang-ups and I'm not past to certain clubs and,
Right.
so people have their own satisfaction.
How long have you been doing it?
6.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're about appropriate where you're at? I know that might be a heavy question.
It's
because for me, I'm like, no one gets me, and I vacillate between going, I'm better than all these motherfuckers, and I'm the worst piece of shit in the world. You know what I mean?
But that's
I know it's a heavy question.
No. Well, I mean, you expect more out of yourself than, like, you think you should be at a certain spot, or that you should be getting more of these certain types of gigs, and then even higher.
Right.
And like, what do you got to do to get to the next level?
Right.
And those are just thoughts of somebody that wants to evolve, and somebody that wants to be learning how to be better, so they could be masters of your art,
sure,
or your profession or whatever. And so, I don't know, man. I think that I am where I should be in certain markets.
Okay.
Like, I don't, like, for, like, if I was trying to just, I don't know, play for suburban people that are techies in the city,
right, like,
I'm failing at that. Like, like.
Where do they go? They go Cobb's? They go.
No. They go everywhere, dude. Like,
okay.
It's just like I'm not
you mean
failing material-wise. Like, if it doesn't work out with these people, like, I don't know. It's just, what's it called? People have certain, like, definitions of what it means to, like, have made it in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just getting a weekend for people that's have made it. Okay. For people, it's not until they get on TV. Okay. For people, it's not until they get a check from a sitcom that they wrote, they're a writer of, they're contributing to a major,
sure.
Conglomerate corporation or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, to them, that's making it.
Right.
So, like, for me, for, like, what my goal was from when I first started, I've already reached my goals, and that's to get paid weekend. So I've already made it. So everything else is just like
butter.
Well, yeah, but I also like really need to get to the next level and get past at more comedy clubs and do more theaters and do more road work. Even though there's comedians that really frown on road work, like, oh, you're a road comic, you'll do bar shows. It's like, fuck yeah, I'll do bar shows. Bar shows pay bread, dude.
Right.
Like, and if you're gonna wait on a weekend at a club, like right now, the going rate, like, what's standard is $50 a show. So weekend of 5 shows, that's $250, and even if you do 7 shows, that's $350. Right. And then if you're the feature, that's $100 per show. So it's just like, and that's been the rate since the '80s, according to some '80s comics. And I'm not starting to.
Tom Segura was railing about that.
Yeah,
the fact that opening. So for those who don't know, so opening and featuring comedians meeting not the headliner. Usually the headliner is the one who travels around to these different clubs. Yeah. He may bring a feature or a middle
or both,
but often there's an already set up. It's at Cobb's. Jim Norton is coming into town, and you and Mean Dave or whatever will be the feature and the opener, because you're already a part of the comedy community there, have done other opening sets, whatever. And so apparently the opening and the feature get paid the same amount that they did in the 80s. The headliner, obviously it changes depending on the comedian, but that price has risen.
Right.
But not for the comedians beforehand. They might I've heard stories from a lot of comedians. I listen to a lot of fucking comedy and comedians on
I love comedy. That was the best slip up in the human history.
And podcasts, and they talk about just the hell of like being an Oprah, being a feature. Like features can get nachos and beer, but they're not allowed to get wine. They're not allowed to get chicken wings.
That
you know what I mean?
Varies from club to club because some clubs will give you a certain amount of money per show and 1 meal per show, which includes a drink and whatever you want on the menu. Now, the menu doesn't have steak on it, but it does have burgers and chicken wings or whatever. Right. You can't get greedy because, they'll be like, what the fuck's your problem? You can't order 2 fucking entrees, you fat fuck.
Right.
So, but at any rate, some clubs, they'll give you food like that every show. Some clubs, they're like, get whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
But like some...
But I've even heard where like openers don't get sodas. Features get sodas. Like, shit like that.
The clubs that I know of, they all give you at least a free drink.
Okay.
All of them. Okay, like if you're on the show, you can get a drink.
Which I mean, again, like we've been talking about,
which is no big deal. And like sometimes, like it'll make or break a booking. Like for a bar show, it's just like it's it's really like low balling. Like because dude, the producers of these shows make a fucking killing. Mm-hmm. These bars are making a fucking killing, and then the performers doing 10 minutes each are getting paid like $2 a minute. So that's really low balling motherfuckers. And then they want you to be part of their fucking little clubhouse and kiss their ass. And I'm cool with a lot of these people. And I love these people to death. But like as far as like comedians getting like pay, this is why there's no union, because like a lot of comedians don't value themselves or the work they put in or the hour drives that they go to perform for free.
Do you think that goes back to that self-deprecating?
It's self-deprecating, no value. A lot of us didn't have the confidence to do anything or to ever take a chance. So people don't believe in investing in themselves. People don't want to invest in themselves because they don't think that they're worthy. They want to have other people validate them, other people that have seen them go through the ropes, other comedians that now produce shows and make a killing off these shows like I was talking about. So it's like a great idea to do that, so really but it's standard though, and everybody's getting away with it because nobody's like, hey, we should all get paid that much. It's more like, shh, don't tell anybody, I'm going to pay you this much, and it's not even that much more.
I told myself when I was first starting, I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself 10 years before I complain. Now, I'm breaking that code very often, very early. But I was like, to really, like, bitch, it's like I got to put in a good, solid 10 years. Yeah, it's great that some people get famous very quick, or they get, the autonomy and the freedom and the money that it comes with.
But they're at the right place at the right time, and they're talented.
Right. But I would rather have the value. I had on the last episode, Nico was asking me, like, would you rather be an indie artist or famous quick? You know what I mean? And it's like, I would love to be famous quick, but there's less value. There would be, spiritually, less value in it for me if I got that quickly. I would rather put in the work and be respected by myself. Yeah. Like, respect myself and respected by my peers and respected by the game, because it's like, listen, I've look at my fucking track record. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of no goddamn heckler. I'm not afraid of no, like, I can handle shit.
Right.
You know,
street performer.
I can go into anywhere.
Exactly. Dude, and I'm not I swear to God, when I say street
I
performer, I don't
what
mean
you
that
mean.
in a
I know what you
condescending
mean.
way.
I know what you mean.
No, I mean anyone listening, because like when I say street performer, I mean like, oh my God, that guy is like really fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That guy really has balls of steel. That guy really doesn't care if anyone's judging him. He's fucking.
we
Okay,
do.
listen.
We do.
Okay, well, you put
But
on the bravest front, like I don't care.
Right.
And that to me
Well,
is
that's the thing.
that's acting though. That's acting.
Yeah,
that's great. And like, you know, like putting on that mask when you're performing, that's part of the performance. Because like
Right.
one time I was really depressed. I asked one of my good buddies. I was like, "Hey, dude, what do you do when you're really fucking depressed and you need to go on stage?" He's like, "Dude, just pretend to be happy." And I was like, "That's really brilliantly fucking sad." Like that's like,
But
thank
but,
you, because
but
that
at least
really
with
works.
comedy. Well, and you can there's a difference between like a joke, like a Brian Regan going up, and I like Brian Regan, but I'm saying like a Brian Regan type of comic going up and smiling through the depression, and someone like a Jim Norton, who that's his stilo, is to be like this self-deprecating, so he can pop the pressure that he has. He can pop the little invisible balloon in the room by going, I fucking hate today, and this is what I'm mad about, and I fucking hate myself, and that's part of why people enjoy him, is because, but he still has the confidence to get up there. He doesn't stumble through the words talking about his depression. He can be confident about his depression. You know what I mean? Like, so there's an honesty thing, but you're right. There is also a confidence as well. There is, you have to feel like, I know what I'm doing, audience. Like, you don't need to feel afraid for me. You know what I mean? Like, because when they smell it in the water, it's like blood in the water. They're like, oh, he's not confident, or he's, he's fucked. Like Patrice used to talk about all the time. It's not like the audience goes, oh, let's give him a chance. You know what I mean? They go, we can crush this motherfucker.
You know what's funny though? Like some of the crowds that I used to, like, because I had a really bad experience. Like the second open mic I ever went to was like predominantly black in West Oakland, and they did not like me, and I got booed off stage, and they said a lot of like really like, boo, get this fat fuck off stage, boo. Right. And then like even had the DJ, not the DJ, had the bartender. They say DJ, like to play to play me off, like that's what she was doing. And it was like, like that's what.
Ow.
But no, I still did my 4 minutes, like, and they hated me, like they really hated me. They hated me the whole fucking time.
Do you, when you look back on that one, or maybe you can think of a different example, but when you look back on that one, do you feel like you did something wrong?
No.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yes. I'm sorry. I was trying to answer the question in my head that no. Which, because I had a lot of things going on in my mind. Yeah. But I knew 100%, not at the time, but like after the fact, that was 100% my fault. Okay. That crowd was 100% honest. Like 5 people laughed at one of my jokes really brilliantly, like, and then like 25 of them booed me, like the whole time.
Do you feel like it was content or your vibe, or what was it?
It was like an entitled fat drug addict is what it was, and these people wanted to hear comedy, and so like from that moment, because I would go to it, it's no longer in existence. It's called Dorsey's Locker, and like I saw everybody there bomb. Mm-hmm. Every single great comedian I saw bomb there, like who's like from the Bay, who's like really funny, like who just like had no fear and just went there. I only ever had one good set there. I went there maybe like 15 times. I only ever had one good set there. It was because I followed a really good professional comedian who's been on television before a couple times, and so like this dude like he crushed it. So I went up right after him. And
black guy, yeah,
okay. Kirk McHenry, and like really hilarious dude. And it was like an open mic, and he didn't like even, I don't know, I guess he agreed to go up. And he went up and he turned that stage into a comedy club. It was like comedians have the power to turn any place into a comedy club when you get everyone to shut up and listen. And like that's really empowering, and it makes you, it's like getting that rush where you get everyone to listen to you. And like for me, it's like you're listening and laughing and about the things that I plan to say, and that feels like really rewarding and fulfilling. Like, oh my God, I'm doing something right. And then when you don't and you bomb, or the audience ain't feeling you, or something more entertaining is happening, or like something like people start talking amongst themselves, like they don't want to even be there for the comedy show. They just got suckered in because like now they got a showcase every second Thursday or fourth Tuesday or whatever, just random date of the week. I'm not or first Thursday or whatever.
Have you ever so you feel, what do you feel like was the reason why you went into entitled fat drug addict guy that day? Was it insecurity?
Lack of experience. Lack of experience or too much confidence. Overconfidence.
Overconfidence.
It was overconfidence because
you had a good first show, or
no. Well, the first show I was like, yeah, I did this. I got it out of the way. You know what I mean? And like so. The second show that I went to, like, you know, when I'm talking about as an adult, because like I had really good sets in middle school. Like those went over fucking great. It was like
right.
2-time Central Middle School talent show winner.
Right.
Like, you know, like I got
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Dude, it was, and that's why it was so much fun, you know. But dude, I mean, I took off I was wearing a suit. My buddy's wearing a suit. I took off my shirt and my suit, and he did too.
Show or the
at
middle
eighth
school
graders
one?
and eighth graders, dude. It was so funny because he had a pink tank top that said Beefcake, and he had a black shirt with white writing that said NWO. Like, you know, it's a wrestling reference, and it was just really, it was New World Order. It was like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and all these dudes, and
that would go over well in 8th grade.
Oh, it was, sure. Dude, in 1999, like the Attitude Era of WWF, which is now WWE. Dude, I wig out, dude. Like,
wasn't that Mankind era?
Yes.
Like the Mankind, Rock, Steve Austin.
Yes.
Those were some good fucking years,
dude.
Man.
Those were great,
God,
man. Those made my life, dude. There was
absolutely
one of my favorite Royal Rumbles, dude. I know this isn't a wrestling podcast, but
whatever.
It's an everything podcast. Like,
exactly.
Like, bring it to me.
Right.
But it's hey, you remember that? That was
no, dude.
Remember. There was this WrestleMania with
I remember the Suck It. Like, remember that one?
I remember people getting suspended for that.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't get suspended for that in middle school, you weren't taking chances.
Right, man. That's awesome.
In middle school, like, you was just like, I got 2 words for you. And then, like, you'd say, suck it.
Right.
And then, like, people get on tables and fucking just keep fucking doing this.
Dude, everybody, man.
Even chicks.
Right.
Like, dude, it was fun. Well, not every chick, but like
God bless Steve is it McMahon? Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
Vince
McMahon.
Bless Mr. McMahon, dude. That was holy shit. He built a fucking empire,
dude,
man.
and a half, bro.
Right.
Buying out all those wrestling circuits. That was Rosslyn.
Right.
Dude, I love watching that. It's so fun. No, but dude, there was this one. It was Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack. They came out. They were like the tag team champions of the world at the time. This was 1998 or 1999. I think it was 98. And it was a Royal Rumble. They came out, and instead of trying to, like, you know, for the Royal Rumble, the objective is to get them out by throwing them over the third rope. And they didn't do that. They just started beating each other up really bad. And the next guy came in, and they just threw him over the third ring as soon as he came in so they could beat each other up for another minute. Because every, like, minute or 2 minutes, there'd be, like, another person that came in.
Okay.
So it was like...
I my favorite was Undertaker. And then after Undertaker would I'd probably say The Rock. Because
Undertaker's great. The Rock's great.
The Undertaker, because I remember being too young to, like, really know, like, even watch. I think my grandpa would, like, sneak us, like, here, we'll watch wrestling. Because my grandma didn't want it. Like, I remember one time she was like, "Why don't you change the channel?" And my grandpa was like, "You change the channel, I change your face." You know, he's an old Puerto Rican, making, you know, trying to make us laugh and shit. But he would let us watch wrestling. But I remember, like, the Undertaker was like this giant figure, like, holy shit, like, it was like this darkness, and this, like, he was like otherworldly, like he wasn't even a human, right? And there was like, wow, you could do that. You know, like, that completely opened up, like, oh, you could creep people out and it would be powerful art. You know what I mean? Obviously I didn't think that way at fucking 7 or 8 or whatever, but like that you know, that's honestly what I think my fucking stilo is, honestly, most of the time. I have a blast doing that shit. Creeping people out is one of my favorite things in the world. Anyway, what the fuck was I saying? I do. I've actually done drag before a couple of times, like creepy drag, not like
what's
pageantry
creepy drag? Like, you have a beard?
Creepy drag,
because, like, for me, that throws me off, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm like king shaming or trans shaming, because, dude, like,
you're problematic. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Creepy drag is this. I would literally, and you can find it on YouTube if you'd like. Just look up Peter Feliciano, or my drag name was Midnight Febreze. And
that sounds clean and sexy.
Exactly. It was very sexual. And I did a cover or I lip synced to "I Miss You" by Bjork. And I danced around like my character Midnight Febreze is kind of like a jilted lover, unrequited lover, where she's singing about this guy, and Bjork is singing about this guy who she misses, who she hasn't met yet, you know, but I haven't met you yet. She's like thinking, you know, whatever. And so my head is like I think the first verse, I'm playing around with I'm dancing around, and then I take a knife out of my out of my boot, and people are like, "Holy shit!" Right? Like, I'm like dancing around with it. I threaten to cut my arm with it, and I hold it right above my head, and then at the last second I drop it. Which, by the way, you can't really see it very well in the video. I drop it, and it stood directly into the stage, like it was a ging, and then fell. And the second verse, I'm playing around with a gun, like I'm gonna kill myself, like I'm gonna shoot myself. No, God, no. I think it had an orange tip or whatever. But like, this is the type of shit that you could do at the Stud on Friday nights. There's this show called Try Something. Like, as long as you emailed ahead of time, you could go and do this like amateur hour, right? As long as they were like, no large messes, because it's going to be hard to clean up afterwards. No fire, no whatever. But so you had some rules, but other than that, you could go do whatever the fuck you wanted to do.
Really? Like, can you spread your ass up in there?
I saw a guy. All right, let me finish the I miss you one first. So afterwards, playing with a gun, then I douse myself with fake gasoline, and I try to set myself on fire, and it doesn't work. So it was like a creepy drag. The second one is even better. Look up Midnight for, well, maybe not better, but look up Midnight for Breeze, and I did Icky Thump by the White Stripes. Anyway, I saw a guy one time, me and a girlfriend and a couple of other people, we went to try something, and there was this performer, and I say performer, and like, I love him or her or whatever they were. He's dressed in a smock, pretty much. Nothing else except a smock and like maybe some panties of some kind. And like, he had his hair up, like fake hair up. He gets on stage. He's got a bucket and a water bottle. And he gets up on stage. I can't remember the song. It doesn't even matter. What he did was, at a certain point, he's dancing around, whatever, and then he gets up onto his back and arches his ass up in the air. So now his knees are by his ears, his ass is up in the air. He pulls his underwear to the side, unscrews the water bottle and sticks the water bottle into his asshole and squeezes the water into his ass. We're all like, "Oh my God." And then he gets up and like turns around like he's gonna squirt it at people, and we're all like backing up from the stage. If I ever find that man,
dude, that is
like,
so
he didn't
gross.
do it, but he was like gonna he literally, water went into his asshole, no joke, on stage, and he was gonna like, "What, you don't want me to squirt you?" And he got like sad and like picked up his bucket and walked off stage. That is a hero, that motherfucker. Wherever you are,
That's a performer.
I love you. That's a
performer.
fucking
That's a performer.
And but like, that was the type of shit, and that type of shit was like, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Not exactly. No one wants to see. And I don't know if I get the tip of the water bottle past all that hair. But like,
oh man, you gotta try harder. Well, if you're getting on stage, you're gonna wax it, you're gonna nair it, you're gonna fucking shave it, you're gonna do something. You're gonna buzz it.
Short shorts. But like, I wanted to creep people out. You know what I mean? I like that shit.
Yeah, man. I don't know. For me, it's like, it's different because like, I'm a big fat Mexican dude with a beard.
Sure.
So like, and I'm a big brown guy, and I'm loud, and so like, I'm already a big creep guy to some people. So like,
But you're a teddy bear.
I
think people, even when you're on stage,
I have to tone it down when I'm on stage. Like, I have to like. It's
you
like,
can definitely click up into loud like yelling, but most of the time I think people know that you're a teddy bear.
No, but I mean, like, for my punchlines, because I'm emotional, I'm loud though too, and I realize that. And even when I try to be quiet and like, talking to the mic, like, it's like, like sometimes you do like you do have to change up the tone a little bit,
right?
But some people will tell you, you got to just stand firm and just perform exactly how you're gonna perform it. But like, for me, like right now where I'm at, it's like, if you try to like be like really like snarky at some places, they come out. Sometimes audiences don't respond like how you intend for them to do when you wrote the joke, and so you have to modify it a little bit and not say fuck and say hell of a,
How often do you have to scrap a joke altogether? Like, you try
when it doesn't work. When it doesn't work. But how many times does it not have to work?
No, yeah, exactly.
It just depends how much it hurts.
Okay, so you tried it like 5-6 different ways.
You try it once and then you don't ever do it again, just based on the reaction that you got that night.
Okay,
like, it's that bad. You're like, this will never work.
But what if you like?
You look back at it years later and then try to rework it, and then that joke it never sees the light of day as far as like going into a microphone.
Wow.
But it's still there because the notebook's still there.
Right.
But sometimes when I'm like, this is garbage, I needed to, like, it's so stupid of me. I should never ever throw away any notes, but sometimes I'm so dissatisfied. I'm like, this set was fucking stupid. Why did I even waste my time? You know,
Has there ever been stuff that passed that you look back from a year ago and you're like, ugh, this was not funny. Why did people enjoy this? Or why do people enjoy this?
I'd say more like often like than not. What I'm more amazed about is like when a joke that I know is funny, but like I think it's like I think it's funny, and then the audience like really likes it, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, cool. I'm so glad they like that because
Right.
I have a joke. It's an act out where like I'm talking to my mom, and the setup is like you ever get so high that you call your mom dude,
Right.
and because I've gotten that high, and then I say, dude, I mean mom. Fucking love you, dude. You look so cool. I mean, you cook so good.
Right, right.
So like, it really was like something that like people can relate to because people get that high and they call their mom dude, and like the way people like laugh at that joke. Like I didn't expect people to laugh at that joke because I really don't think that joke's that funny. I thought it was funny, but like not that funny. That joke is gonna start sucking.
But
now.
maybe no. Well, maybe
That joke's
it's
gonna start sucking.
maybe it's the thing. Maybe it's that thing of like your wording or because people are already on board with you. They get your voice, quote unquote. You know what I mean? To be corny, like they get your vibe, and so once they're on board with whatever character you are, they're like, oh yeah, that is funny that you put it in that framework.
Yeah, them liking you from the beginning is very important to relating with the audience. It's so funny because my go-to opener, no matter what, is if you guys hate Mexicans, you guys are gonna hate this part of the show.
Right.
But if I'm doing a show with all Mexicans, it's like if you guys hate Mexicans, you guys are probably you're gonna hate this whole entire show.
Right.
So you just change things up. Like if you're in the Bay, I was on BART. But if you're in like San Diego, you're like I was on public transit.
Right.
I was on the train.
Right.
I was on the subway.
Right.
I was on the bus.
You want to you down to take a break and then keep going?
Yeah, man.
I did have one question before I fucking forget it again. Do you? Oh God, did I forget it again? Son of a bitch.
Was it about comedy?
God. Oh yes,
sucking?
it was. Wait, no, it was. This is why. So I know I'm funny enough to do stand up, but I also don't want to start something new. I already did a fucking podcast. I've been going almost a year now. I've got an album coming out. I don't want to start something new. But also the fear of me doing something like that is I would feel that the stuff, like you said, like these are words that you have practiced. Some of these you've done hundreds of times, these jokes. You'll get a certain reaction. How the fuck does that stay fresh to you? Because for me, I would feel like I would get bored sometimes saying the certain things. You know what I mean? Where like a podcast is so different because you're just stream of conscious and you're just like whatever comes up, blah blah blah. But like, how do you feel like you ever like shit gets redundant and you get sick of it?
Well, I mean, like to tell you the truth, because like I know for a fact, like if I were to go around like and ask the audience before the show, hey, do you guys want to hear about my day job?
Right.
If I ask people questions, like I'm going to be like having to pander to them.
Right.
And like I just go out there and I start talking about, my appearance and what I do for my day job, which is I substitute teach, and I talk about all these stories. And so like, I don't know, I guess like going back to your question, like, it stays fresh because it's important to me. You know what I mean? Like, so when I talk about like being a substitute teacher, it's like I want people to hear these funny stories that are relatable because it's assumed that everybody who is at this English speaking show went to public school or charter school or private school or independent school or Montessori school or homeschooled or something. And like a reform school or boarding school or something, and so they've gone to some type of education here in the United States, so they should have dealt with substitute teachers at one point in their lives about how crazy they were, about how they didn't care, how funny they were.
So it's the fact that it's new to them.
It
makes it more fresh to you or something?
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, so I could go to the Punchline and play there, like, once a month, right? Mm. And every single time that I play there will be a different audience.
Right.
The same comics will be kicking it in the back. And, like, they'll snicker or they won't laugh at all because they don't want to hear my shit. They've heard it a million times. Yeah. And, like, like, that's fine. I don't care if they laugh. Like, I just care about the people who are there paying money to see the show. That's who I care about. I want to make them laugh. I want them to, like, follow me on Instagram. I want them to, like, donate to my Venmo. Right. Like I really do say that, dude. Somebody like Venmoed me $5 the other day with the sub, I don't know what it's called, but it said cocaine. $5, and like, you know, I don't sell cocaine, and if I did, I certainly wouldn't sell it for
Fans,
$5
wonderful fans, right.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's great. Yeah, just fanfare, making it hot on my fucking Venmo by writing cocaine, and for $5, you know. So if my fucking FBI agent is listening, I don't sell coke.
Right.
So, you know, but
no one's listening to this. I mean, it just
dude, everyone's listening to this. You tagged me, and I'm so fucking important. Fucking 2 comics are gonna listen to this. I'm just kidding.
I know,
no one's gonna listen to this. No, I'm just kidding. No.
You know why they won't listen? Is because I'm half Puerto Rican and you're full Mexican.
Dude,
so obviously if you don't like this episode, it's because you're a racist, horrible person.
Dude, I mean, that's how it is, man. Fucking no, dude. Like, dude, I've like performed in Ukiah, and like there's been some like really drunk entitled, like, you know, you got to win over my attention.
Right.
But it was funny though, because they were being assholes to everybody. They weren't really racist. They were just like fucking hicks.
Cunts, yeah.
They were that.
Hickey cunts.
They were hickey dickies. But they were
Right.
fucking they should have put hickeys on my dickie. But like they were not, I did
Nicely
not like
done.
yeah, I just you know,
just-
fucking improv.
We're
Dude.
gonna cut that part out. That's
Just cut out the part with this fabulous bracelet I have on. I'm just
that is a
kidding.
wonderful bracelet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's actually mosquito repellent I had on all
Oh,
weekend.
really?
Yeah,
Nice.
and it did not work. So
Oh,
I just have it on as a fashion statement now.
Right.
Like, this doesn't work. I need
It's
to.
like a rotary phone.
Yeah,
Or
I don't think
Livestrong
people are
bracelet.
going to get that reference. It's coiled up.
Let's take a break. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. Do you
Okay.
smoke?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
Um.
Well, I mean, I'll go outside and get some air.
Yes, exactly. Bye. La 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 la. Okay. Hello, everybody. Again, because I have to promote myself, because that's the game we're in. Find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. And you can support this podcast at Patreon. Well, podcast and all my musical endeavors at patreon.com/conservatish, or find me on Venmo and give me money. Where can people find you on Instagram, by the way?
On Instagram is Puro Papi Pacheco. Try to
For
make
all
it
the gringos.
for all the gringos is Puro Papi Pacheco. PuroPaPiPacheco, or you can look up Victor Pacheco and see this big bearded sexy dude and
Sexual
add
chocolate.
me. Yeah,
Right.
sexual chocolate, because fat guys have to always play the fucking, like, you know, sex deprived fiend, you know. We're typecasted, bro. Like, it's like, fuck.
I love that Chris Farley was like the different, like, he obviously had a lot of his demons, but he could clean the fuck up. Fame and funniness did that for him. You know what I mean? Like,
He
you
just,
know what
yeah. It's so sad just watching just the way that he, you know, let drugs and fame just really get to his self-esteem. Then, like, you know, that people are laughing at him
Right.
instead of laughing with him. But it's like, dude, you fall brilliantly. Like, nobody can fall like you.
No.
Nobody can fucking, like, be the hilarious timing, like, you know, super energetic. And not only is he super energetic, he could, like, do tricks, acrobats. He could do cartwheels. He could, like, really do a lot of things that, like, a lot of big guys can't do, and that's what made him, like, really special. Like, and also his, like, charming personality. You're like, you don't know him, but it feels like you know him.
Right.
It feels like you've met him. It feels
And
like
I feel like he invented that awkward thing that The Office has capitalized, that a lot of comedians have capitalized on. Him on SNL, you know, interviewing Paul McCartney. Remember that? I'm stupid. Like, no one did that before then. I mean, maybe it's because I'm 33 and I don't know who you know, what the fuck do I know?
There's some old
What the
people
fuck do I
listening right now.
like?
It's like,
You motherfuckers
punk.
need to look up Rick Moranis. No, but like he invented, like, he was a very specific type of character for, you know, he was fucking amazing.
He was ahead of his time.
Absolutely.
Or he was the first of his kind, or at least the first fat guy to do it like that, you
Right.
know. But I just think also though too, like, I don't know, I was like amazed as like a kid watching him, and I'm like, this guy's really hilarious, because I knew who he was before I was doing stand up. I knew who he was when I was doing stand up. I was going to dedicate our show to him, but I was like, no, that's going to bring everyone down, so we're not even going to mention that. We're not going to open with that.
Right.
You know, that's messed up. You know, that's
Sure.
going to bring everyone down in middle school. Like, and I knew that. I knew that as a middle schooler. I was like, hey, should we do this?
Right.
Nah, should not do this.
So I did want to talk to you about. Well, obviously I wanted to have you on because you're funny.
Thank you.
But also because I wanted to selfishly use you and your, you know, because that's what having guests is about, is promoting my stupid shit to your fans and vice versa. But also because you posted something about the Black Little Mermaid, and I wanted to talk to you about it because it was like it's a controversial thing. It's a controversial thing.
For the record, I posted, why are so many people so hateful,
Right.
and have such racist opinions and have such like misogynistic points of view. So I don't want anyone thinking that like I wrote something like really shady and now I'm going to be called out about.
You did it. No. That's not what I'm doing.
No. I just wanted to clarify. No. Because of course, like I like my opinion of it is just because of course, like, you know, people are adding their own comments and somebody like added a comment saying, oh yeah, so they're just gonna might as well just make her lesbian, and I'm like, what's wrong with lesbians?
Right.
Like seriously, what's wrong with lesbians? I love lesbians. Lesbians are tight.
Right. I can think of a couple of things wrong with lesbians.
Yeah.
I have. Let me phrase that the right way. I have a very good, a very close person in my family who's super lesbian, and she and I often talk shit about how humorless a lot of lesbians can be.
But that could go for straight people though too, man. Because like,
all right,
like,
sure.
no, because
I'm saying the ratio. Tig Notaro is an exception. She's not the fucking rule. Like from my experience, and I'm not a fan of Tig, but anyway, like from my experience, like if anyone's gonna get mad at a show, it's either gonna be a woman, or especially there's more often than not, it's gonna be a lesbian.
You know, because there's like a lot of things that like, because a lot of people do use a lot of like gay rhetoric as like the punchline to like really use them as the butts of the joke, as opposed to like empower them, you know,
Sure.
like I explained that like that I look like a proud Samoan lesbian woman with a beard. And, you know, but I say it with love because I really do.
Well, exactly.
Look
but that's
like
that.
that.
But context is everything. Context is everything. Like Patrice fucking, over and over. You know what? And he was saying 10 goddamn years ago. He was saying we all let context be destroyed.
Right.
And especially when I look at things like someone getting mad over a joke. Obviously, there are shitty jokes, but like someone getting mad so far to off the beam to completely take context away. You said X word. X word means you're bad or you're racist. Right. And that's what I want to, as far as tying it into the Little Mermaid thing. The reason why I don't like that they were making a Little Mermaid black is because they're pandering to me. The Disney is saying, everyone look at me, look at how progressive I am.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm being condescended to. I feel like I'm being talked down to.
By
like,
Disney?
Here, black people, I'm giving you a bone, number one. And number two, we're going to make controversy knowingly so that people will get mad. Now, other motherfuckers can't articulate
do you think
that
there's like
well.
a split and divide type of thing? Like that they knew that they were like putting in like as an Easter egg type of, because I'm not trying to like make this, I'm trying to understand this because like I got a 9-year-old niece and up until like 9 years ago, I didn't give a fuck about kids.
Right.
And like, she's 9 and she's Mexican
Right.
and she's like on the darker side.
Sure.
So like she's gonna get sweated by police in a while.
Okay.
You know, when she's not a cute little kid anymore and she
Right.
becomes an adult.
Right.
You know, she's gonna get sweated on because she's Mexican. She might be
Right.
drug running. She
She's
might
going to
be
get all
part
her
of gang.
shivs taken away.
Yeah, right. You know, they're gonna take away her guns. So you know what I mean. She needs to stand her ground. But you know, but she's great. She's a great kid, and like so, like I just think about how empowering it is to have like we had James Bond, and the reason why people were pissed off about the James Bond was that how are you going to ruin? Or I'm sorry, the 007. How are you going to ruin James Bond's image and like replace it with a woman or replace it? This isn't the it's like no, she's not replacing James Bond. She's replacing 007 because James Bond retired. So Agent 007 is available now, and it so happens that it's this black woman.
Okay. All right. So I didn't know that it was a completely different character.
Right.
If it's a completely different character, I don't mind.
Not James Bond.
But
no sex change, no race change. This isn't like revitiligo.
The problem that I have is not just that, but also when it's a lazy thing. When it's the type of thing where it's like instead of writing a completely new story with a completely new character, like they did with Princess and the fucking Frog, let's just recycle this shit. So it's lazy. And number two, again, it feels like it's pandering. It feels like look at how progressive we are. Give us your money. But it just bothers the fuck out of me.
But
no one gave a shit when Will Smith was the new Genie. No one said
people did. It wasn't a race thing.
This level.
They didn't say it like that, but
Exactly.
they bitched about him not being as good as Robin Williams.
Yes, but
People
that's not
bitched.
because of
No,
because of his race.
But they couldn't say that because they made that motherfucker blue. But they also made him.
No, personally, I think they hated him because of the way Disney cheaply made the effects. I heard a lot of Mexican motherfuckers, black motherfuckers going, who the fuck is this fucking he looks like shit. He's nowhere near Robin Williams. Now,
Right.
That I don't think it was because of his race. Same thing like when they were talking about making Idris Elba the new Bond. No one was like, Bond isn't black. Maybe a few, but not to the level outrage or whatever of people on the middle or on the right who are like, why are they making fucking Ariel black? It's because of the pandering shit. I feel like most motherfuckers
You're right,
can't articulate that. They don't even know that's why they feel like fuck this shit.
But I think that this has taken marketing to the next level of marketing to evolve to like it be generational, because what I think is going on is that Hollywood is saying, you know what, all these people that grew up on 007, remember the Nintendo 64 game that you would set up with GoldenEye, there we go. Dude,
same WWE.
All of us have kids now. And so if we could bring a show where it's going to be, we know as dudes that like, oh, if it's a female protagonist, it's not going to be as like violent, or maybe it is. And it's going to be like, you're going to get to see this badass chick whooping ass.
Right.
And like, like people are going to like watch it and they're going to have different opinions. They're going to be cornball kids being like, oh, dude, she's so hot.
Right.
And, there's going to be people like being like, wow, she's so empowering. So like, I think that like having somebody like that out there to like, show that, hey, women can do it too. Women could be badasses. Women could be secret agents. Women could work for the military. Women could fucking go rogue. Women can, do anything a man can do.
I agree with you. And I'm not saying.
But if I didn't have a niece, I wouldn't give a fuck because I wouldn't have that perception. So I'm being very honest.
Right. No, I hear you.
I'm like one of those politicians that doesn't care about like cancer, and then like my wife gets cancer. It's like, oh, we're gonna fund this research and shit. So right. And I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but that's like you don't understand until you meet people and then you like care about them. You're like, oh shit, that's part of my world right
selfish.
there.
Absolutely.
So it's just like
sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. So,
but I'll point to this. So I agree with what you're saying. That makes sense but I mean, I was a mixed kid. I never grew up with like knowing what mixed kid like. Oh, they have me on the screen. That wasn't my experience.
White
Maybe
and Puerto Rican,
Puerto Rican, German, English, black, and like some Swiss or.
Holy fuck! If you didn't throw in that black, I would have been like, okay, so white. How
dare you Mexican motherfucker?
Yeah, no, because your dad's Puerto Rican, right?
You motherfuckers.
All that other stuff you mentioned was mob, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, black on both sides.
Okay.
But you don't
forget,
dude,
Puerto
you
Ricans
motherfuckers don't know
dude.
goddamn tostones. You fucking.
We do. We just don't make
frijoles.
them like you guys. Okay.
You don't know. Mexicans don't have tostones.
Hey, Mexicans don't sell tostones, but all those motherfuckers in those Puerto Rican kitchens are Mexican.
Not New York. Anyway.
Okay, well, we're talking about like where we're at right now in the Bay. But anyone listening to New York, you're like, that fucking guy's a piece of shit. He doesn't know shit about Puerto Ricans.
But so I get that. But going back to that idea of seeing a tough woman, no one saw Ocean's 8. No one gave a fuck about Ocean's 8. It was a big flag in the air. Look here, it was either we're gonna throw a bone to the chicks, to the feminists, or it was look at how progressive we are, right? The difference, here's a perfect example of the difference. Everyone loved Kill Bill.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. That's true, but you're comparing the fucking Ocean's franchise to fucking James Bond and 007, which is one, and then fucking Quentin Tarantino's foot-loving fucking Kill Bill, which is like, bro, it's like we get it. Uma Thurman.
He really does like feet, man.
Dude, everybody likes feet. Everybody really.
I don't give a fuck about feet.
I don't give a fuck about feet, but you see some nice feet and you're like, wow, that's fucking great. Like, wow, how your feet so fucking smooth? And it's just like, it's just like I'm a fucking dude. You know what I mean? I got fucking hobbit feet. Like,
Absolutely.
It's just like
I would come on Uma Thurman's feet, no problem.
I had a Middle Eastern woman in college like see me like without shoes and like in flip flops. She's like, wow, you got really cute toes because they got hairy like on the like right here.
Did you fuck her?
No, I did not. I wish. And then like now she like converted and she's like totally 100% Muslim. She moved to Australia and she doesn't have social media.
No more looking at feet.
No more looking at feet. No more looking at my feet. You know what I mean? It was funny though because yeah, man, college was funny. It's funny because sometimes like people don't expect me to talk about like college or the college experience because like people just think like, dude, one time I was like taking care of a kid with autism, nonverbal, that grunted a lot and would like, like hit himself like in the head to like relieve stress.
Jesus.
And so, yeah. And then he would try to hit me.
Right.
And he liked music and he liked dancing and stuff. And like sometimes we'd go out in public and like people would give us dirty looks like, oh, that guy's watching him.
Right.
I wonder what the relationship. Oh, he's one of those Mexicans that, I bet you he doesn't even care about that kid. Like, I get those looks, like, and also like, which one is looking after which one? You know what I mean? Because like, I look
right.
very slow. I got a big forehead. I talk
Right.
really loud,
Right.
but I can like articulate thoughts.
Right.
Sometimes I'll just like just freeze up and be, I don't know how you communicate right now.
I would love a hugging machine. You know what I mean?
It would be covered in weird substances if there was one. So you'd have to get your own personal.
You're right. I would fuck my hugging machine.
Yeah, you would have
I'm
to.
Sorry.
You'd rub your dick on it, and you'd fucking like involuntarily come on it.
Dude,
Or
I
voluntarily.
was talking about that. Fucking. Do you remember the coming up with ways to jerk off as a kid? Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like
I still
fucking
do.
putting your putting your dick in between the box spring and the mattress.
That would
and
hurt.
Like, well, no,
That would
but
hurt.
the pressure, as long as it's not
No,
like
my dick,
splintery.
No, it really hurt because like it would like either like hit the wood or like the fabric. It would like make it jam up like a fucking gun.
Okay.
And so like it would just like be like I don't know, dude. Like one time I tried to make this thing in ceramics class and I just ended up cutting my dick and like it was not smooth on the inside. Like I should have put that fucking like
Right.
crystallizing fucking smooth edgeness on the inside, but I didn't because I had no frame of thought or frame of reference or whatever. And so tried to fuck that. Did not
It's
work.
hard. Teenage boys, man. It's quite not.
I was like
pardon the pun, it's
12,
hard.
dude. I was like in 6th grade. I was fucking going ham, dude. I was like, fuck, I'm already looking at porn and shit. You know what I mean? My dick was already getting
Right.
hard. Like, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? You're just like in class.
That
and you're like-
those first year or so or whatever, I don't even remember the first time actually something came out. But I remember jerking off to the point of coming and nothing coming out. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a thing. You know what I mean? It was just like one of the release.
No, dude, something always came out. But like
Really?
actually like
I started
fucking,
when
like,
I started jerking.
But
off when
like
I was,
pearls
9.
didn't come out till I was 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it was just like really like a sticky situation. Like really
Right,
I don't think I was producing like sperm until I was 8.
Okay.
But I was like jerking
That
it when
seems
I
like
was 7.
early.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't think
pretty early.
came until like
Yeah.
10.
It's messed up because then people be like, "Hey, were you molested?" I'm like, "Hey, listen, that's none of your fucking business." But I wasn't molested, so
No.
I just like fucking with people. You know, you like
Sure,
talking
sure,
about
sure,
like
sure.
awkwardness, and
Right.
also the two. Like I do stand up, so like a lot of creepy motherfuckers that do stand up will talk about fucking molestation like it's nothing, and I'm like, bro, like I don't want to hear about it because like I don't want to hear your interpretation of it because I've heard a lot of stories from actual victims who have like people have done this like multiple times for multiple people, and it's like really fucking sad. And you want to joke about that?
Right.
Like if you're gonna make a joke about it, talk about your personal experience or somebody, you know what I mean, something that you know about, not just your opinion about. What if maybe it's just like, so like this part.
So like as an example, Louis C.K. doing the joke about how I'm gonna butcher it, but him doing the joke about how he's like. Fucking a kid must be great because of the risk involved, the being a pariah the rest of your life. Besides going to jail for a long fucking time, as you should be.
Yeah.
He's like, it must be amazing. Like he's obviously making a
Right.
joke, saying hyperbolic,
That was on
over the
SNL,
top
too.
shit.
That was
right,
SNL,
right.
too.
That's balls to say that joke, and that was a funny joke.
on SNL,
Right.
Like he didn't do an opening normal set. He did a stand-up comedy routine.
Right.
He did a bit.
Right.
He did a fucking like 9-minute segment.
Right.
That like so the audience was like, ooh during
Right.
some of it, and like they clammed up, and he still stood his fucking ground.
Right.
So like for me personally, I'm not a Louis C.K. fan. I don't
Okay.
religiously watch SNL.
Sure.
So I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, I'm going to tune in and watch that Louis C.K.
Right.
host it or do the introductory monologue or whatever.
Right.
So
But
like,
does that joke fit into that feeling that you have about? Because I mean, I've talked to like you, me and Dave, a bunch of you guys in the circuit have these ideas. Like I think it's maybe because of so many open mic level comics acting like they have the chops or that they have put in the work or know how to put on a joke, and they butcher it and make it fucked up just for the sake of making it fucked up rather than making it funny and also dipping into some hardcore territory. They just expect, well, I'm going into hardcore territory, so that means I'm talented
Right.
or that means I'm funny.
Or
Is that
edgy,
what you're saying?
edgy,
right.
So like people are edgy for the sake of being edgy, as opposed to trying to actually put out content that's actually funny,
Right.
fun, relatable,
Okay.
and something that happened to you,
Right.
or something that you really are like educated about. You know the whole subject, and so you could really like. But like it's just like there's these blanket statements. There's these like like you use this as a punchline and then you move right on type of thing, or like I don't know. Like it was funny because like I was actually remembering like recently about what happened. I was doing a show and I went second to last. It was a bar show. There was only 3 people there, and the person
3 audience members.
3 audience members and like 7 comics. And so the comic that followed me was on stage, and they opened up saying that if you have a kid that has cancer and you pray to God that your kid gets better, and you actually believe God's going to listen to you and cure your kid, you're a fucking idiot and your kid's going to die. And then there was like a guy in the front row with a woman, and he said, "That's not funny, move on." And the comedian said, "Well, if you don't fucking like it, you can stand the fuck up and get the fuck out of here. Comedy's subjective." And I was like in awe. And then these two fucking comics were talking. It's like, you guys need to shut the fuck up because there's a train wreck happening right now. You guys need to watch this. And so I'm watching it. And then the comic was justifying this for like 3 minutes and then continued to do the rest of their set. And the audience hated them the entire time. And it was like wow. And I had a pretty good set. I related to those 3 people because it was like a party with just us 3. That was my set.
Right.
And so I stayed for after the show, and I got my $3. And I stayed, and it turns out the couple in the front, they weren't on a date. The dude, he was taking out his friend because their son was in Oakland hospital. He was still there at the time, and he wasn't responding to his chemo, and she wanted to get her mind off of it, and she was having a really good time up until that point, and she didn't appreciate that she had that to say about without like knowing that people were going through, and that she should have been more sensitive. But to me, like, it was like she should have been more thoughtful, because that woman's right. Why are these people coming to comedy shows? What am I doing? What am I trying to figure out? What am I like? What's my goal? And it's like, right now where I'm at, I need to be funnier. So I need to.
If he, first things first, if he had been more funny, do you feel like that would have changed things? Meaning if it would have been a sensitive issue, but if it would have been, instead of just here's this blanket statement that I'm going to smack
the
you
delivery.
with.
It was the delivery.
Okay.
It was the fucking. It was the entitlement. It was the fucking, like, it was also the thoughtfulness. It was like a lot of things that was like really like did not follow through with like the way that you want to. Like, Bill Burr says a lot of like really fucked up shit, but Joey Diaz says a lot of fucked up shit. All these comics say a lot of fucked up shit.
Right.
But the way they get away with it is by saying it like in a like really thoughtful, clever way that's cutesy wootsy, matter of fact, absolutely belligerently wild. Like there's all these like, but they're all funny. It
sounded like the way that comic did it was very browbeating.
Well,
like,
I mean,
this is what I
right. This is how it is, and if you don't know it, you're a fucking idiot.
Right.
Like I'm preaching to you about something that I have no experience with, and didn't follow with, because, and then like gave example of concrete shit that happened in their life, and like for me personally, it's like also too like I don't know, man. Like I just want everyone to have a good time. I don't want people talking about bleak shit. I don't want people talking about me personally, like because I know
it doesn't feel right to you. It doesn't feel authentic to you to go into those deeper, darker subjects.
Well, also though too, not even just deeper,
okay.
darker subjects. Also just like shitting, coming, vomiting. Because like I do a lot of shows where people are eating. And I'm a fat fuck, and like I can't even watch Forensic Files because of the gross stuff that happens. Like there's gross stuff that happens in those shows,
like the murderer getting caught.
No. I mean it's gross because you see these people on trial and they're like, oh, that fucking creep killed that fucking chick or killed that fucking dude. Fuck that guy. It's usually a guy, or sometimes like fuck that lady. Right. But like no, so I can't even watch this shit because there's blood, there's dead bodies, there's fucking decapitated fucking whatever the fuck.
So you like being thoughtful about
So
that.
I'm thoughtful about like how I'm presenting stuff. Like, oh, people are eating. I don't want to talk about me coming because I'm not a hot guy. I know that people are gonna respond like, oh, we don't want to hear about this guy fucking unless I make it funny, which I do talk about fucking because I say I fuck my wife like an animal. And that animal's an elephant.
Right.
We fuck like elephants, and I proceed to make elephant sounds.
Right.
So, and when that joke doesn't work, and I follow through all the way with it, that it's like, wow, you guys really left me the fuck hanging. Because like it's just like putting myself out there.
So that comic, he came from a place of browbeating, kind of like shittiness. His delivery wasn't right. Now, at that point, what could he have done differently if he was already in the thick of it and somebody said, "Hey, different joke, move on"? Have you had a time, like, because I feel like at that point, if you adjust and go,
yes,
like it's crucial. Almost like, but is it also them? Are you then beholden? There's 3 people in the fucking audience. You know what I mean? Like he could have just done that. He could have just said, okay, fuck it, move on. But do you also feel like a piece of me would feel defensive? Maybe incorrectly, because it's like, well, I'm not your bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna talk about what I want to talk about.
Yeah, you give me a list of your, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying I'm on the comedian side, but what could he have done differently once he was told,
move on?
Move on.
There's a lot of ways they could have either been like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna keep talking about it, and then keep talking about like, digging that hole even deeper. Like, it's like, oh, you're offended? You're actually not offended yet. I'm going to dig this deeper, you know, because I fucking...
But you feel like that would not be
That would have not been...
okay.
But, like, to effectively have gotten out of that situation, as you're asking, like, how to have gotten the crowd back on your side, all three people, like, you know, have been like, oh, dude, I fucked up. Did I strike a nerve? Like, hold on. Fuck my comedy right here. Is something going on? Oh, my God, you have a kid in the hospital? I'm a piece of shit.
And then just make it about
I am
self-deprecating.
So sorry, like, lady. I'm fucking trying to make people laugh, and I'm not doing my job. I am fucking. Please don't write a Yelp review.
Right.
And just like, you know, just switch the energy, like make it very personable, so the person knows that.
And then make yourself the butt of the joke,
up.
where you're like, oh, I'm the fucking where make people laugh at you. Go
Right,
self-deprecating.
right. Because
instead.
you have to. Well, you'd have to self-deprecate to get into back into your. So if I opened with that for some reason, right, which I would never open with that, but let's just say I did. And then I'm like, oh, shit, there's a new joke that isn't working. I'll be like, you know what, lady, my life fucking sucks, okay? I'm a fucking substitute teacher in the day, and I do stand-up comedy, and nobody likes me at either one of my jobs right now. Like, it's just you're
just go off on the, like, there's 3 people here. I've been doing this for 6 fucking years. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, and get into the frustration where you're making fun of yourself.
Right.
Like, that makes sense. But, like, going... Oh, this is awkward. So airplane food sucks.
Acknowledging it, and like, because you're right. There's like a billion ways how to handle it, but like, I would say being honest 100% of the time and telling like what's going through your mind, like, and making it funny. That's crucial. Like that's because like a professional comedian gets a laugh every 5 seconds, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you add up all the laughs, if you add up how long the comics are talking, how long the laughter's going. Like, it's like really like, whoa, these are some serious statistics. And like sometimes when I have good sets and I'm hitting a laugh every like 6 seconds, every 5.5 seconds, I'm like, oh my God, I could do it. And then like I listen to sets and I got like 5 really good laughs in like 7 minutes, and I'm like, that's not good.
Right.
Like, that's really not good. And like, hey, good set. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, and no, but you can't say that. You're like, hey, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
I hate it when I know I sucked and everybody's like doting on me, and I'm just like, I can't. Part of it, I think, is a self-deprecating thing again, where I'm like, I'm not believing in myself enough.
Some people won't look at you after your set when. I'm not
when
fucking with you.
So
no, at comedy, bro, it's wolves, bro, and wolves love fucking bloods and sacrifice and fucking. They love watching a freak show. They love watching something just like when the comedian loses control, whether they're not funny or they trip or they fucking like lean on a fucking. I was at a show recently, and somebody leaned into the backdrop at the punchline and they almost fell to the ground, and it was really fucking funny. It really was fucking hilarious. I laughed like. Like, and I didn't mean to. It just came out, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" I hope you didn't hear me, but it was like really blatantly, really loud. But it was funny as fuck. It was like I was not expecting that, and like I don't laugh at comedians. Like I don't want them to fail. Like, you know, but when they are failing, I'm like, "Holy shit, what went wrong?"
It's what,
and then
what people want to see.
But I want to learn from it, though. People want to see it because people are fucking very like sadistic.
We're creeps.
Yeah, and so they want to see other people suffering so they can feel better about their own situation. But with me, like, part of the reason why I like seeing fucked up shit happening is because, like, oh fuck, what would I do if the situation happened? Because I didn't even think about the situation ever happening. So I use it as an opportunity to learn from it and hopefully, you know, gain experience and like, oh well, I'll be prepared if something like this happens because I thought of it right now. What would I do?
Well, what's so weird though is that like, cause so like I'm big on like ultimate free speech, especially around jokes.
Yeah.
I don't think going into the subject where that guy was going is necessarily like he shouldn't be allowed. Obviously, the group conscience is being taken place at you know, the audience has spoken. I'm not defending
as
it.
opposed to
I'm
a story.
Saying, right.
So that's like
what
the
I
difference
think.
with
What
style.
I think is like, what do you think that guy could have done differently? Because you also the thing about stand-up, from what I've heard, is that it's not like music where I can go practice in a room and then go, here's this finished product.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know it's funny if I'm a stand-up until I bring it to you. You tell me if this is fucking funny. Right. You tell me if I need to put the fuck over here or over here. Like, you tell me.
Right.
So how would he... Like, was he a new comic and he just didn't know how to start something up?
No,
or?
Definitely should have known better. I mean, not known better because, like, I've seen this joke work before. Believe it or not. The same exact person, same exact fucking joke. I've seen that joke work once. I've seen it not work like 12 times. And so it was like I saw it work once, and I was like, I'm going to watch the rest of the set. And it was like one of those nights where it was just like.
Everybody was with him.
Yeah. And so it was like okay, cool. Like, good for them. Like, I don't give a fuck. But, like, it does work, and that's why they keep doing the joke, because they know it works. Maybe the times that I saw them, they were still working on that joke, so it didn't work.
Sure.
And so, like, the time that they did it, like, sometimes a joke isn't fucking funny because of the content. It's funny because of the timing and the fucking, like, relations to, like, the fucking pauses you take and how you pronounce words. And, like, you know what I mean? Like when I say sweating, I'll say sweating, say sweating.
Right.
And sweating sounds way funnier than sweating.
Right.
And so it's just like, it's like stupid little like nuances that captivate audiences, because like getting their attention and shit.
Right.
It's fucking hard. I'm a fat guy. You know what I mean? No one wants to fucking look at me unless I'm like having a heart attack or eating hella food.
Right.
Or like, you know, like fucking some chick out of my league, or like, you know, like that's what they want to see. They want to see a dancing bear. They want to be entertained. So like, you know, like I got to like try extra hard, like, to get laughs. And like, it's funny because there's people like rooting for me, there's people not rooting for me.
Right.
And so like, what's been helping me out recently has just been just focusing on people that do help me, and just like those people like really are like the people that like make my life better. So like, if I'm concentrating on people that don't want to allow me to the circle, like that's cool, because like
we can volunteer to look and focus on whatever aspect we'd like. If we'd like to focus on the negative shit, we'll feel more negative. Right.
But then you'll fill yourself with this toxicity that will bleed on to other areas, and then like you'll be negative with other people, and then commiserate
your stage,
and then it's like codependency.
It affects everything.
Yeah, man. It's really, it affects your performances. It affects your life, and it's just like going back to what you were talking about earlier with Jerry Seinfeld. Like, yeah, it's got to be the best thing ever. But like, if you put so much validation into but also Jerry Seinfeld though, saying what he's saying, he gets paid thousands of dollars per performance. So even if he sucks, he still gets to get all that money. So it's like different for like people at different levels. So like where I'm at, when nothing's going good in your life and like you're killing it at comedy, it's the best feeling, because you're just like, wow, this is the cheapest high ever because I got paid for it and I got to feel like this. Right. But then, you know, sometimes bullshit happens and you don't get paid the amount. Or sometimes, you know, like you get the gig canceled the day of, or you drive to the gig and it's not happening, or they fucking booked you for the wrong day, or they got into it with a producer and the producer is no longer producing that show, and they never told you because they're falling out.
Well, there's so much stuff. So we'll start wrapping up. We'll get you to your gig. But I was thinking like, I as far as like shit that's disheartening, I had a post. I was trying to promote this post. I had the Nico, the half black, half Filipino guy, saying thank you for using the word nigger instead of saying N-word, right? And I tried to, and I posted it, and people were like it, whatever. But then like they wouldn't let me promote it and put money behind it because it was profanity. And then I had that post removed, and then I had another post from a clip from last week where I was talking about fucking a girlfriend of mine at a sex club. It was profane. It was dirty, but it wasn't like abuse. They said, "Oh, this violates our terms of service because it's abusive or threatening language." So, well, yeah, but it's not non-consensual abuse. It's fun abuse. You know, you're at a fucking sex club. Anyway,
that's a great point, though. I mean, that about the girlfriend part, I'm not too sure about the N-word, because I really think that like with the power that the N-word has, is I'm not gonna say it unless I'm in front of hella black people, because like. I'm not joking. Like, I mean, stand-up wise. I don't mean like I'm serious. Because
stand-up is a whole nother thing.
And I'll say it now, like on record, because like I'm gonna say it, because like, you know, I cannot say in front of a whole white audience or a whole audience that there's only 3 black people. Okay. Like I cannot. I need to say a certain joke where it's like at least 60% black or 100% black. And that is when this one time I was substitute teaching in East Oakland, and this little 9th grader, this little black kid, I told him to open up their books, and then this kid's like, shit, this fat Mexican nigga sick with it thinking he's gonna make us do work, bruh. Right. And I can't say that in front of white people, because white people are like, oh, you can't say nigga. I know, and I'm like, I'm not saying it.
Man. White people are the worst.
This high school kid is saying it, and then I proceed to go on. It's just like, because I've been called a fat nigga before, I've been called a Mexican nigga before, but I've never been called a fat Mexican nigga before. Right. And you know, this kid said, shit, this fat Mexican nigga sick with it, thinking he's gonna make us do work, bruh.
That sounds like a rap. I love how black people talk, man. That's like a singing. They're so good when it comes to like the phrasing.
It was poetic. It's
poetic. That could be a
poetic.
That could be a fucking hit right now. Put a beat behind
that
shit,
dude. This fat Mexican nigga thinks he's sick with it. Think he's gonna make us do work,
right?
Bruh.
Absolutely.
This fat Mexican nigga sick with it. Think he's gonna make us do work, bruh.
The reason why
I had
a black rapper.
I can't say that for the white people.
Send me a message.
Yeah.
Send me a message online.
But that's what the at the end, not ER.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
But like, I had a black rapper send me send me a bunch of clips or snapshots of white, because he shared me this ad I have of me throwing straws out on the beach, like like joking, like is
like
the political the political climate in California too fragile for jokes or differing beliefs? And I hold up some straws and plastic straws and I throw it on the beach and I say conservatish, so. People
don't know you're poking the dog, though.
I know I'm poking the fucking dog.
No, but people don't know that you're doing that. They think you're fucking serious.
So this black rapper reposted it because he's like, I like this dude, whatever. And then some white liberal motherfuckers were like, fuck that guy. He used to be I liked his music, but now he's on some fucking alt-right shit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this black rapper, and this black rapper is like, I wish that I could support you, but I can't be as publicly supportive because I don't want to get canceled, but keep doing your thing. You know what I mean? Like, the problem is whiteness. The problem is fucking the pandering bullshit of white liberals. That's why I'm a mixed guy. Like, I've done volunteer work for the gay community, but I also like guns. Like, can we be somewhere in the fucking middle? Everyone calm the fuck down, you know what I mean?
You have the wrong mustache right now. You got the wrong mustache.
Because I look Mexican?
Mexican? You say Mexican? We're going to get some moxie with his mucks.
Mira, estoy practicando mi español cada día.
You still got that Puerto Rican twang to it.
Soy un pendejo también, pero estoy practicando cada día. Es muy difícil porque...
You need to work in the kitchen, dog. That's what you need to do.
I do. Well, I work as a server.
Okay. Well, you know what? No, you got to work in the kitchen. Like, you got to fucking communicate with these motherfuckers, okay?
Dude, I try sometimes. I'm always coming up like, tenemos huesos? Like, what do we, what the fuck are we, like, yeah, I'm always like, what's the other word that we're, but I can almost do it. I'm on the way.
Well, dude, like, I would suggest, like, just mastering, like, Spanish, kitchen Spanish. That's what it's called. And, like, really, it's limited. Like, as opposed to, like, I'm going to go learn how to speak Spanish, because then there's kitchen Spanish, there's construction Spanish, there's buying cocaine Spanish, there's buying fresh fruit Spanish, there's buying fresh meat Spanish. And not to forget, buying fresh cheese in Spanish. Because, dude, like, one time, my dad, I mean, more than one time, like, they bought these huge, like, this big
wheel,
40, 50 kilo wheel of cheese.
God bless him.
Yeah, dude, and like it would be like $4 to $6 a pound depending on what it was.
Oh, shit.
And like he would get these big ass blocks, but sometimes it would come cut up because immigration would cut them through to make sure that there was no fucking drugs smuggling in there. Right. And so my dad would be fucking pissed. You guys would try to fucking rob me and fucking blah blah blah. But like you put all the fucking pieces together and it's fucking one big fucking wheel.
Right.
But it's really fucked up because then there's all this fucking shake.
Right.
From the fucking shit being cut and like it like breaks up sometimes depending on the fucking like texture on the cheese.
My dad actually tells a story about he had some construction guys at the house, and my dad's Puerto Rican, but New York Puerto Ricans often they'll look fucking telemundo white, you know what I mean? My dad has white skin, and he's and these Mexican guys are like talking some shit about like, no, we'll just charge him extra for blah blah blah, whatever, to each other, these Spanish guys, and my dad's like in Spanish he's like, oh, what the fuck did you just say? Like they didn't know that he spoke Spanish and he caught him. Yeah. So it happens,
they don't do that to me, man, because I look very fucking Latino. like fucking A. Like also though, I also look like a fucking. It was funny. There'll be someone's like, "Hey, bro, are you Tongan?" And I'm like, bro, if I'm Tongan, I'm like the most handsome Tongan, bro. Like, I'm not trying to fucking sound fucked up, but like, I really am.
Oh, it's true. It's true, dude. It's true.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, Tongans. No, fuck that. Stick by the goddamn shit.
No.
We're allowed to be attracted to who we're attracted to.
No, dude. Like, there's like the Rock looking type of motherfuckers that are Tongan that are way better looking than me, dog.
But so go to Belmont once in a while. Fucking see some
real Tongans.
See some real Tongans, dude.
No, I'm fucking with you, man. I love Tongans.
Sometimes I'm like, how would you want to fuck that? Anyway,
no. I'll tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
let me tell you, we got more time. We got more time to talk about Tongan titties. Okay.
Now, where can people find your stuff?
People could find my stuff at HispanicTitanic.com. That's my website, and then I got links to go to my social media, which is Puro Papi Pacheco, which is Puropapi, Pacheco, Pacheco. You know, you can find me there. This is coming out on Monday. So tomorrow, Tuesday, the 30th of July, I have a fundraiser / benefit for one of our friends. She has stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
And so she's getting some alternative treatments that is not covered by her plan. And so we're doing a fundraiser for her. And like I've hung out with her like 5 or 6 times. I've been to her house 3 times. She's always been really cool. And it's like actually one of our comedian brothers, Mario Montez. He goes by the Butcher because he used to be a butcher. And he's a really funny guy, fat Mexican dude. We shouldn't get along because fat Mexican guys just don't like other fat Mexican guys. Like, hey, you're going to step on my shit. It's like, and I don't, because I don't talk about being a fat Mexican. I mentioned it like twice. But like, you know, it's just like not talking about the whole time like I'm fat, you know. But so I am fat.
Where can people support that benefit?
At Retro Junkie, which is in Walnut Creek at 2112 North Main Street. It's like 8 or 9 minute walk from the bar in Walnut Creek. So you get really drunk. It's no cover. In lieu of cover, we're asking for donations to go directly to Missy. And we just want to help her right now because, like, you know, she's going through some shit. Like, you know, she needs to take time off. We want her to be with her family. And, you know, we really have hope. This is giving her hope that, you know, like at light at the end of the tunnel, like, you know, people care. People are going to come. People like, we're doing the show for her. All the comedians are donating their time. Because all the money that we make from the comedy show, we're giving to her. And then we're going to pass a donation bucket like it's church, and I'm hosting it. I'm like, kind of like, oh, fuck, don't say nothing insensitive. But also at the same time, I got to acknowledge the cancer. But I'm not going to say something fucked up, you know, like, or joke about certain morbid fucking things. But, of course, I'm going to mention it. But, like, also, though, like, I just kind of just need to talk to, you know, Mario, you know, who's the brother, like, hey, dude, like, what do you want me to say when I'm hosting this specifically? So I could, you know, at least do that because it's...
You could at least transition it into the fact that Mexican dudes never go bald. Why is that?
You know what?
Y'all motherfuckers stay like black.
Spaniard blood.
Because I went bald fucking fat. It was not the Puerto Rican side, it's my German side, but like, oh, dude, I went bald fast.
Dude. It just, I don't know. It could be like environmental stuff also. Like, also
my dad's in his 60s and he's got black fucking hair. He doesn't color his hair at all and no grays. I don't know why the fuck I got that shit end of the stick.
I don't know, dude. I have no idea. Like, fucking Mexicans are hairy as fuck, though. We got that Spaniard blood in us, though, too. And some of us have that, like, German Spanish blood, and some of us have that fucking, like, Arabic Spanish blood. And so we have, like, different thicknesses of, like, beards and eyebrows and shit. So some of us look more like...
If you put on a turban, I could see that, dude.
Yes, my friend. I am Victor from Agrabah.
With a giant fucking sword that's thicker at the end.
Dude. No. I mean, sword. I like that.
Where else can people find your stuff?
People can find my stuff. I mean, I host Retro Junkie every second and fourth Tuesday right now for the summertime. And we're probably going to move it back to Wednesdays in the near future. But they can find us at the Comedy Fix at Retro Junkie on Instagram. We post all our shows. We have a promo for that cancer benefit, which was like kind of like, okay, because my co-producer, he hit me up. He was like, hey, dude, I got an idea for a promo for the cancer show. And I was all like, what do you mean? Like, how are we gonna make a promo? It's like, dude, we could talk about how we just found out she got cancer, and how are we gonna make money? We should say we're gonna run a 5K marathon and then not follow through,
right?
And then or like try to do it and just fail at it, or like we could do like a benefit to get celebrities and like sing stuff together. And we dressed up like I forgot who he dressed up like, but I dressed up like Michael Jackson. It was really a terrible outfit, but we tried. But what's it called? Yeah, man. Just I have all my shows at HispanicTitanic.com. I have my calendar there. I have my bio there. I have some short clips to like give you an idea of what you're getting into, and hopefully, if you go to a show where I'm closing it out or featuring, I'll get to do more time. Which is cool because like I could like really like tell longer stories that I can't tell if I have like 10 minutes. And like you really like if you have like it would be like I think like Staircase to Heaven, you know, like they try to at the time when Staircase to Heaven, Stairway to Heaven, I'm fucking forgot. But anyways, when Stairway to Heaven came out, like they wanted to do a radio version that was like 5 minutes. And they're like, no. It's 8 minutes. You got to put on the whole song from start to finish. And they didn't want to do it because it was taking too much time, right? And so they just eventually they did put it on the radio, but there was like all this like, so at any rate, like you can't like condense jokes. Like it's hard to make like a 7-minute joke or a 7-minute story into a 4-minute series of jokes that like tie together with a central theme. Like, I don't know, it's like harder. But also though too, like telling stories though is hard.
Right.
It's really hard, especially when you got to try to make people laugh every like 5 seconds, every 6 seconds. It's really hard. But like also, it's like about like saying things. It's again, it's how you say it, not what you really talk about. That's how people get away with stuff.
And it's investment in you as a person,
right?
You know, if someone gets invested in the performer, you know.
Yeah.
So you can support my podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can also just fucking Venmo me. I don't give a shit. Daddy needs money. I don't give a fuck how. And also, if you like my stuff, or even if you don't, if you just want to come and like hate watch my performance, my album release party is going to be September 13th, Friday the 13th at Brick and Mortar Music Hall in San Francisco on Mission and 13th. It's going to be a fucking huge show. And the culmination of this album I've been working on for 2, 3, 4 fucking years. Lot of money and time has been put into this. It's great. You will love this. Full horn section. Jefferson Berge is opening. Pollo Del Mar, the drag queen, is going to MC. DJ Kevy Kev, legendary Bay Area DJ, is going to DJ afterwards. It's going to be a fucking great show, so you need to be there. And tell your fucking friends. And ticket link, I guess by the time this is out, ticket link is live, and I will share that on all my social medias. So go buy tickets right now, or I'll find you and I'll murder you in front of your family. Mercilessly. Or maybe just, I also said once I'll piss into your mouth. Like I'll tie you up, and I'll just piss like onto one tooth, and then like, you know, I'll let you go or whatever. Everyone's healthy, but I just want that, like a droplet of urine right on the front tooth. Anyway, or maybe I'll pull back your lip like this, and I'll like strip the skin from underneath your fucking chin.
If you have hepatitis C, that's a crime though. Just by the way, just for the record.
But it's only a misdemeanor if AIDS you can't transmit through pee.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless you put the dick in the mouth and the dick's all cut up and the mouth is all cut up, and then it comes to that contact, then yes, you can.
I'm only responsible for the cuts on my pee-pee, so.
Yeah, so if you're going to do that, make sure there's no cuts on your dick. I took fucking biology of AIDS in Santa Cruz. I know what I'm fucking talking about. Oh, wait, sorry, you're wrapping this. You see, this is Mexican goodbye. You're trying to sign off. I'm sorry. I'm looking at myself at the camera like, wow, I'm fat as fuck.
I know, we have to do another episode on prep and shit. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Pacheco. Go follow him online. Go see him perform.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.